Sorry, I'm allergic to fake friends.
There is nothing behind those eyes. I mean, they are the eyes of a shark. To be fair, I'm not sure there ever has been anything behind those eyes, but this photo, it is scary. So people are talking about Paul Breach again this weekend. I'd kind of assumed he was gone, but apparently not. Apparently the guy is clinging on for dear life. Unfortunately, this has kind of come back to bite him, because somebody on TikTok who can basically only be described as one of his victims, well, they've made like a whole account to expose him. They've released a tweet longer and a load of videos. And to be honest, it's not looking good for Paul, but we'll get to that a little bit later. First, for the uninitiated, I just want to expose you to Paul. I mean, to be fair, he might expose himself to you if you're not careful. But basically, Paul Breach, he's a 40-year-old man, he's pushing 50, and he acts like a little girl on TikTok.
Spread it open and flick the bean. I'm Joey, I'm proud of the pussy queen.
Yeah, I'm not even going to dignify this TikTok by watching it till the end. He doesn't deserve it, and I think if you're watching this, you probably deserve better than that. Either way, the guy's a bit of a mess. He had his time in the sun a couple of years ago, and he was very popular. Not a good way, but to be fair, people on TikTok will take fame of any kind. But either way, during this time in the sun, he was subject to a fair bit of scrutiny, and it turns out that he probably does have quite a few skeletons in that closet of his. I mean, one of them is that he doesn't wear shoes anywhere he goes, but that's probably as good as it gets, because Paul Breach, as a brand, he's basically synonymous with the word nonce. There are countless examples of him being like inappropriate or seedy with underage fans.
More energy, pal. It's time me and you were friends. Let's fix that, let's sort it. You look beautiful, you're amazing.
But somehow by this point, that is just Paul. People are just kind of desensitized to it. We've had a look at what he's done in the past in some previous videos. If you are interested to see the evidence of that, feel free to go back and watch those videos. To be fair, while you're doing that, you might as well like and sub. But either way, this did come to a head recently, because this girl on TikTok, she came out and she exposed Paul. POV, it's been months since he fell out with a greasy rat, and this greasy rat thing, it could apply to a lot of people. And at this point, people were questioning who it was, but she quickly followed this up with some videos. And I mean, this girl was on the inside. She was in Paul Breach's inner circle. I wouldn't wish that on my worst enemy, but she was there, and clearly she has survived. But the videos, they are nothing short of haunting. He eats breadsticks. I mean, this is hard-hitting journalism so far. I don't want to take away from what this girl is saying, because as you're going to see in a little bit, she makes some, like, serious claims. There is something kind of weird about, like, sitting around and recording someone. This isn't me defending Paul. The guy is a creep, and I will arrest him myself. But you got to question the intentions of someone that kind of sits around and records constantly. Either way, I do trust him less now, because the way he pulls that out, it's like a knight pulling out a sword, and I know he thinks he's a white knight, but he's definitely not. Well, in fairness, at least he is self-aware. If you were hoping this was some introspective Paul Breach moment, though, I hate to break it to you, you are going to be disappointed. Because sadly, this is him just talking to 14-year-olds on TikTok Live. He's predictable if nothing else.
It's wrong. It's wrong.
Yeah, so far these clips have only exposed him as a weirdo. Nothing we didn't know already. I mean, the guy is just a mess. It's absolutely mental to think that this man has had a son. I don't know how. If anybody knows how babies are made, feel free to comment down below. However that is, though, I just failed to see how Paul Breach has managed to pull that off. Either way, after this, she posted one more video, and it's maybe the best representation of the highs and lows of being Paul Breach that I've ever seen. This is pure nihilism, just pure misery. This is Paul Breach at his lowest, but don't worry, we can go lower. Because as I said, the girl that we mentioned earlier in the video, well, she wrote a whole document, and in this document, she basically details her whole experience with Paul Breach. At the time of recording this video has like between 600,000 and 700,000 views. And Paul Breach did actually respond himself, but we'll get to that after we read through the document. And don't worry, in the name of retention, I'm just going to go through the key bits. Basically, the first key point to to understand is that these two became friends, quote unquote, when the girl had just turned 18. Initially, as she says, Paul Breach was very nice to her, but in situations like this is a very recognisable pattern. They started to get closer, and it eventually ended up with Paul Breach like sleeping on her sofa. During this time, he went on some excursions, which I can only assume are those clips where he's just walking around towns looking for people to take photos with. But he came back like he's a cat, and he went to her 19th birthday party. This man is 43, by the way. Let's just keep this in mind. He actually met her parents as well, and they were okay with this, which is completely mental to me. She then does kind of affirm that Paul's behaviour was never sexually inappropriate, at least explicitly, but as you're going to see in the rest of this document, it was definitely inappropriate in other ways. Paul basically took over this girl's house and was sleeping on the sofa. He would open explicit images from other people who she says were young. That's pure speculation on her part, but to be fair, it's Paul Breach, so I would not be surprised. And then from here, it kind of goes downhill quick, because he would like massage her from behind, even saying stuff like it's his, which is crazy. He would get very jealous whenever this girl was involved with any other man. He would just generally act creepily, and he would also ask to go and see her 15-year-old cousin. He even went behind their back and tried to put himself on the tenancy. I mean, this is the behaviour of an absolute lunatic. There's some bits at the end where she says that he didn't shower for the full month he was there, and to be fair, that I can believe at face value. But before this was posted, he would talk about it on his lives, and he actually claimed he was being groomed by them. I mean, this guy is mental, and luckily for us, he did actually respond to this post.
Trigger warning. Yeah, it's me, Paul. That's not the trigger warning, so calm down. I've got chewing gum and I'm chewing while talking, so if that does really upset you...
I mean, straight off the bat, and maybe it's irrelevant, but has this guy been punched 3 times in the face? I mean, I've seen red faces, but I've never seen 3 perfectly formed red circles. I think there might be something Paul Breach is not telling us, but it's irrelevant. We'll get back to the response.
Hi, it's me. I am going to take this very seriously. Number one, if I'm scary, awfully scary, probably... you wouldn't invite me to your house on numerous occasions.
If you ever roar at me again, I will add a 4th punch to that face. But he's just completely ignoring the principle that victims are typically manipulated. She even says, full transparency, that she was fully like kind of under his spell. Or she at least thought he was a good guy from what he presented to her. So far we're 0 for 1. Let's see what else he's got to say.
You probably definitely wouldn't video me and photograph me like eating and standing up and crying to a song and walking in the rain. You'd probably be more petrified.
Again, at this point, she was kind of under the illusion that you were a good guy. And I mean, you are infamous on TikTok for being a weirdo. It is weird that she was recording you, and I did concede that earlier in the video. But to be honest, it doesn't take away from anything she said in that document.
I wouldn't do that. Would you do that? I don't know. Just maybe you would do that. Again, chewing, trigger warning. See? I'm being very informative and helpful.
I mean, if you take any substance from what Paul Breach would or wouldn't do, then you might be an idiot. That's on you, though. Either way, this guy is basically not even responding at this point. He's just talking about the gum he's chewing. Enjoy it while you can, because they might not have it in prison.
Also, in hindsight, it's a beautiful thing. I am so glad that I didn't shower at your house, because the shower was momentous.
I mean, that is on you, but fair play for coming out.
But also, if you videoed me and photographed me sat down on a sofa in a garden and in the rain, you might well have photographed me and videoed me. Whoa!
Yeah, he's either fantasizing or speculating, and I really hope it is the latter. Again, though, you're not even responding to what she said, you're just kind of dancing around it. But to be fair, Paul Breach does love dancing, so I'm not sure why I'm surprised.
I'm petrifying me. Look at me. Wild. Everybody does their own crazy, and everybody does their own normal.
Yeah, this isn't even a slick edit. Like, this guy has not responded to anything. He's not even tried. He's just tried to make it out like she said he's scary when she didn't say that once. I don't think anyone would describe you as scary, more like creepy or disgusting. Either way, he just kind of took this line down, and this is a very bad look.
Whatever way you want to be normal, whatever you want to do crazy, it's everybody's individual choice. I'm Paul. Nice to meet you.
Well, at least he's rehearsing his lines for when the police come to his door. If he even has a door, I think he might be homeless at this point. But yeah, at the end of that, it's not like we didn't already know that Paul Breach was a creep. I mean, he is pretty unanimously considered to be TikTok's biggest creep, or at least one of them, but this does kind of solidify it. As far as I know, there's never been someone that's explicitly come out and kind of alleged that he's done stuff to them. If there is and I've missed it, let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think above all. He exists in his own little corner of TikTok now, and I kind of feel like this will have no impact on anything, but it should. And if you've watched this video, I hope you at least know by now that he is a creep and you should probably steer clear. If you're not convinced, I'll show you one more video that hopefully should hammer that point home. And if this video doesn't convince you, then I don't think anything could. Like and sub.